fictional art for entertainment.
The clinic didn't smell like a hospital. It smelled like Penny, a sharp, clean scent of ionized ozone and expensive peppermint. I sat on the edge of the bioglass table, my leg bouncing in that familiar, irregular ADHD rhythm my standard aria watch always tried and failed to stabilize. I was tired of the letters dancing, tired of the 4 hours for me to 1 hour for them to learn ratio, tired of running twice as fast just to stay behind the pack when it came to learning. Penny stood behind me, her hands moving with a surgical grace that made the tools on her tray look like extensions of her own fingers. She was holding the Aria 47S, the medical-grade processor that was supposed to be my cure, or at least my bridge to the rest of the world. "All right, Alex," she murmured, her voice a calm anchor in the static of my mind. "I'm going to attach the housing to the bone behind your left ear. It's going to feel like a cold pinprick, and then absolute clarity." I felt the pressure against the base of my left ear. I winced, but Penny just smiled. "Don't be a baby. We've been refining this for over 300 years. In the early days, they practically hollowed out the skull. Now, it's a simple neural sync. The 47S will weave itself into your prefrontal cortex before we finish this conversation." As she worked, I watched the holographic data stream on the wall. To my dyslexic eyes, it was still a jumbled argument of light, but I knew that was about to change. "Penny," I asked, my voice echoing softly in the small room, "if it's this simple, why am I here in a back alley workshop? Why is this limited to the sliver, the wealthy, and medical cases worse than me? Why doesn't everyone get a bridge?" She paused, her optical loop reflecting the sterile glow above us. When she sighed, it carried more weight than she usually let show. "Other than the few workarounds we use for people like you, the official line is human progression. There's a concern at the highest levels of the hegemony that if this were widely shared, humanity would stop focusing on moving forward." She leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper that even my old ARIA unit wouldn't have caught. "But look at the math, Alex. These chip implants, they don't just organize your thoughts. They stabilize cellular decay. They extend lifespan for those who can afford the maintenance. Most of our leaders, they aren't just aging well. They're over 120 and running on these medical chips." "Done," Penny announced, tapping the spot behind my ear. And then I felt it. The world shifted. I looked back at the holographic display, now showing the operating manual for the Aria 47S. All my life, reading had been a physical drain, like wading through a thick, invisible current. But now, the pressure was simply gone. I looked at the letters as if they were a landscape. Or Penny's face. Clear, steady, effortlessly understood. "Read the top line for me," Penny said gently. I did. My eyes didn't jump. There was no internal noise to push through, no fighting to carve meaning from chaos. I was just reading. For the first time in my life. "No wonder everyone at the university seemed to have time to live," I breathed out. "It took me 4 times as long just to keep up." "How does it feel, Captain?" Penny asked, a playful smirk returning to her face. I looked from the glowing text back to her. "I think," I whispered, "that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." Emotion tightened my throat. "Penny, this is a life changer. Thank you so much." She smiled, warm and real. "Very glad to help, and I want you to keep in touch, okay?"
Dreaming with eyes open, Storydoy.